Hi, everyone. Julian appeared over video link for a little while, and everyone who saw him saw what I had witnessed on Saturday, that he is in a terrible state. He's extremely thin, and it's shocking, frankly, that that he's in this state. And it's a special type of cruelty to have to sit through today, having the US distort and try to undermine the expert testimony, which the magistrate sat through for 4 weeks. She listened to the facts of this case and came to a conclusion, and that was that Julian will not survive extradition. That ordering extradition in this case is tantamount to killing him. And for every day that passes, the longer this takes, the closer Julian is to death. This morning we heard how the US promoted its so-called assurances. These are not assurances at all. They incorporate within them the caveat that they can change their mind any time and put him under SAMS and ADX Florence, which is a specific conditions that they've outlined in the assurances. But they're not worth the paper they're written on, and that's because the US has multiple ways of isolating prisoners. On any given day in the United States, there are 80,000 prisoners in solitary confinement. Only 50 of those are under special administrative measures, and only 500 of those are in ADX Florence. The remaining 79,500 people under solitary confinement are not in ADX or SAMS. So what are we even talking about? We're talking about a journalist who is being prosecuted for his work because he exposed the crimes of the country that is trying to extradite him and the country that conspired to assassinate him. If this were Jamal Khashoggi, would the UK courts even get this far in extraditing him to Saudi Arabia? Our laws have to mean something. The principles of democracy, of an open society, of a fair society, have to mean something. And if they mean something, they mean that Julian cannot be extradited in this case. The US is using these courts, abusing these courts, to further its political persecution of a publisher who was doing his job. And in doing so, it is creating a precedent for all of you and your colleagues that can be used by the United States in the future or by any other country that is paying attention and going to pursue their dissidents, their journalists, in the same way. This has to end. Julian has to come home. We have to be able to live freely.
Okay, thank you. We will, at the end of today's proceedings, be holding another briefing like this. I'll tell you why we do it. Because any of you who've been listening to the court proceedings this morning will know that what the lawyers for the United States are doing is to present the palpably ridiculous as the absolutely obvious. And when you sit there in court and listen to those people in their wigs and their robes say this stuff, it sounds normal, it sounds plausible. Until you hear Laurie Luff come out and say, look, it's bloody ridiculous to say that you can't take account of the future conditions in jail when you're assessing somebody's likelihood of committing suicide. It's palpably, obviously ridiculous. If anybody said it to you in a pub, you'd laugh out loud. But in here, they take it seriously. So out here, we're the reality check. We're the fact check on what's being said in there, and we'll do it at every break in this court proceedings as it goes along.